What's up, everybody? It's been a little while, but I figured I'd check in with you guys. And I recently got a question on one of my YouTube videos, actually the walkthrough video for my camper build in the back of the truck here. And I thought I'd make a video answering all those questions. So let's get into it. So, this viewer of my latest review, or not review video, what the hell am I calling this? Walkthrough of my truck build. I had somebody ask me a few questions, and I thought it'd be good to kind of make a video answering those questions for that viewer of the video. I'll put his question up on the screen here for you guys so you can read it. I don't know what his username is, bunch of random stuff, but he said, "Great build, Justin. Looks very well thought out. Did you get any footage of the build and install?" Unfortunately, I did not. I did snap some pictures and post them on Instagram as I was working on things. I got this truck in March of 2021, I believe. So COVID was going on, and if you're not familiar with what I do for a living, I'm actually a fishing tackle sales rep, and I actually have this set up to basically travel on the cheap when I'm on the road working, but also for when I do on trips for the YouTube channel and that I do usually stay and sleep in the truck. Saves me a ton of money, allows me to do a lot of different things. Big old diesel going by. Looks like they're on a call. So yeah, I didn't get a chance to film it, but I did get some pictures, so I'll put those up for you now. So he went on to actually ask another question, or kind of asked if he could see something, and he said, "I would like to see more on how I secured it all into the bed." Believe it or not, that is an issue. He did notice that there were some turnbuckles in the lower areas, and that is exactly how I did it. I'll open the tailgate here to show you. Probably the easiest one to show you is the one that's right down here. And if you can see, I have a turnbuckle right there. I have one on this corner here, and on the other front end of the wheel well, I have another one with the light on. And I actually attached it to the tie downs that are put in by the factory for the truck. Just an eye bolt and some turnbuckles. They do come loose every now and again, so every now and again I do need to tighten them up and slide the whole entire assembly back over. But for the most part, they're good. I did the same thing over here on the side. There's one in the front and there's one in the back. You can see I got the one right there. And there's one up front. It's actually up kind of high up in the corner there, and there's another one basically up where my head is on the front of the build. So he had a couple other questions. Let's see if I've answered them yet or not. I did not do anything storage wise up in the front where that turnbuckle is. There really wasn't a lot of room there. I do have an access hole to get to that turnbuckle, so I could probably stash some stuff in there if I ever needed to, but I really don't use it. But there is an opening there for me to do that if I ever needed to. The mattress deck. What did I do for the mattress deck? The mattress is really simple. It's actually a trucker mattress, one that you would see them use in the semi-truck. I did trim it down in overall width, and in some of those pictures I showed of me building it, you would see that the platform was a lot wider than what it is now. This has probably been tweaked about 3 or 4, well, it had probably 3 or 4 major tweaks. I really wanted to be able to get a seat in here so I could actually sit in here and work if I'm on the road. And I actually have a little tabletop I hide up underneath the mattress here, and I drilled some holes into the 3/4 inch plywood deck just to add some ventilation to the underside of the mattress. I've never had an issue with mold or water buildup in there, but I've watched a lot of van life channels and a lot of YouTubers that have had those situations, and I figured might as well alleviate some of that if it could become an issue. I did notch the mattress up into the side here, and that helps hold it in. And then I also have this little runner piece that goes right down here that holds the mattress in for side to side, front to back, with those notches I have in here, and there's one up in the front. It basically holds it in place for me just fine, and I have no reason to do anything further on that front. Yeah, that's basically his questions on that one. Let me see if there's any other questions on this video. It's been a while since I've looked. I think there was a couple other ones, so give me 1 second. Here's a good question that I got. It's actually about my awning, which is not on the truck right now. I take my rack off in wintertime because we have pretty harsh winters. We use a lot of salt on the roads here in Michigan, and I don't want to cause any excess wear and tear. And the time of year, I'm never going to use it. The question he had is, I see that you were able to open your bat wing on the passenger side and not the driver's side. I was told it would only work opening on the driver's side to the passenger side when fully extended. This is why I never bought it, because my rooftop tent opens over the side door or driver's side door. Is it something you can switch to make it open from passenger side to driver's side like you did in your video? Also, how did you attach it to the rails? So on that awning, if you want it to open up on the driver's side and cover the driver's side and come around towards the back, you need to buy a driver's side 270 batwing awning. Mine is a 270 degree awning. They do make 180s. They do make some straight out poles. Mine is by Rhino Rack. There's a lot of other brands out there, and they also have a passenger one, and they come in different lengths. Mine's the 8-foot length, which is the largest length. So I didn't do anything special with it. I just bought the proper side and went with it. The reason I went with a passenger side is because I have power going to the back corner here, and at most campgrounds, if you look at RVs and that, your power outlets are going to be on what would be your driver's side. So I wanted the power to go in here, and from there I'm also going to be venting my AC out, and the intake and the outtake for the AC comes through this window right here. So I didn't want any of that heat that builds up from that AC unit getting up underneath that awning. The other reason I wanted to have the awning on that side is so that I can actually open up this whole window when it's raining and enjoy some fresh air when it's a light rain. I don't put any stickers or any decals on this side for that exact reason too. I like to be able to see out of this window. Another reason that I wanted the awning on this side is because this is where my food goes, which is right here in the cooler, and that awning usually lines up about right here, so I get a little bit of protection when it's raining. So those are the reasons why I went with a passenger sided awning on my build. This is actually a very common question I get, and it's more related to my work and why the hell do I even do what I do, other than the fact I love staying at campgrounds. I love being outdoors as much as possible, and when you're on the road working, hotels get old really quick, and I'm not a fan of sleeping in a hotel worrying about bed bugs, you know, bringing them home to my house, and then they're a nightmare to get rid of and whatnot. But Mike asked, doesn't your company allow you expenses and to expense travel costs? If I couldn't expense my work travel costs, I'm not sure I would travel. So yes, I do have, for lack of better words, an expense account with work. I want to make that money go as far as I can to cover all of my expenses when I'm on the road, so I'm not taking anything out of pocket, because most businesses that offer an expense account versus just covering your expenses have a set amount, and it's your responsibility to kind of manage those funds and keep track of it for tax purposes as well. And I just don't want to spend my own money to travel for a job that I have to travel a lot for. So that's part of the reason why I do what I do, but also I've always kind of had this weird thing of wanting to do this since I was in my teenage years, actually, teenage 20s. In fact, this almost happened when I broke my back in 08. I almost started living in a Ford Ranger back before this was ever a fun thing to do, but my dad said, no, you're coming home, son. And I got rid of the debt, and the rest is history. On that same video, I had a question from Dippin' Dom. He asked, is this a double cab? No, this is not a double cab. This is a crew cab, and it has a 6-foot 11-inch bed, or 6-foot 7-inch bed, or 6-foot 5-inch bed, depending on how you measure the bed of this truck. It's essentially a 7-foot box, but the interior measurement, the longest one I can get is 6'11". The average is around 6'7". I'm 5'10". Works out really good for me in that regard because I don't have to curl up, I can stretch out. Now, one last question that I have been asked at a lot of campgrounds. People see me set up this, they come over and say hi and check it out. They're curious, right? I'm very proud of this build. It's not the greatest quality. Probably looks way better on camera than it does in person, which is fine with me. But I always get asked, what do I do for safety? And do I ever sleep anywhere else besides campgrounds? Short answer to that is yes, I do sleep at other places other than campgrounds. In the winter months, which we're kind of getting into, all the state parks for the most part are closed. You don't have power, you don't have facilities at them, so that limits where you can stay when you're on the road just a little bit. Some of the obvious ones that some people stay at, and I do stay at a few, is rest areas along the interstates and highways. I do crash in there. I do have a couple of my favorite places in the national forest where you can actually disperse camp, but I also will stay at like a Love's truck stop as well. And the nice thing with Love's truck stop is I can hop on my Love's app, pay for a shower, wait in line, get myself together, go inside, get a nice hot clean shower, brush my teeth, get ready for the day, come back out to the truck, drop my dirty clothes off, my towels off, and off I go. And no one knew that I live in my truck when I'm on the road working. Another one that I get a lot of questions of is safety and how do I protect myself when I'm in the back of the vehicle. Well, that is a mixture between personal protection objects. I carry. I will never use a bear spray or pepper spray in a bed of a truck or an enclosed space like this, because if you hit somebody with it, you're also hitting yourself with it. And that is dumb to incapacitate yourself while trying to scare somebody else off. It just never makes self-defense sense to me at all. So that is one measure of it. The other one is just use my gut instincts on where I shouldn't and shouldn't sleep and stay. We're all human though, so we can make mistakes, so that's why I carry. Another thing that I do is I actually secure the back of this truck with 3 ways of locking. One actually attaches right to the tailgate. And here, just a very simple system. It actually locks and holds down that door there, so I can open and close it from the inside and no one can get in from the outside. Another way for my wind doors is that's what they call the side windows on my vehicle, is I'm using a very heavy stainless steel cable, and it's latched to the same tie down that's affixed to the bed that my platform is sitting on, and that basically stops those windows from being able to be opened up if I happen to leave them unlocked. So that protects me in the back of the bed when I'm on the road, and just making sure that I park somewhere where I know I'm safe and being vigilant, like you should always do in your everyday life. So I hope that answered a few of your questions on my truck camping build. I just had a harebrained idea about how I could possibly redo this build and add some more features to it and actually change a layout on it, and kind of taking some cues from the short ladies that do truck camping throughout the country. I'm actually on a couple of Facebook groups, and it's always fun checking out other people's builds and how they solve their unique problems for what they're doing. Will I do that build? I don't know. That's going to be a pretty massive change to this setup. I don't know if I want to do it, But one thing I do want to do is actually set up a battery system here underneath the bed. And I will probably end up shortening this drawer and putting an access hatch up front and putting an inverter and possibly some lithium batteries, because there is times that I really don't want to be in a very crowded campground. I'd like to kind of be out on my own, or if I'm going on a fishing trip and it's really hot out and I just need to knock the temperature down a little bit so I can sleep, I'd like to be able to run that AC unit. And I have a Jackery and it can run it, but I only get about 4 hours out of a Jackery 1500. And I really don't want to wear down the Jackery too much with AC, and then I don't have a way of keeping my food cold, because I don't like running that cooler off my house battery on my truck all the time. I do it from time to time, but I try not to. Even with the best AGM battery that this truck has, it does wear it out, and I'm due for a new one already on this. So that's going to do it for answering a few questions from my truck tour video. If you have any other questions on my build, or if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link down in the description, and also at the end here on a card, I'll have that video for you to check that out. If you have any other questions, leave it down below in the comments. I read all of them, guys. I may not respond to all of them, but I do read them all, and I do listen. So give me a like, follow, share, all that good stuff if you feel the need to. Who knows, maybe next spring I overhaul this build again for the 4th time and keep on refining it and making it better. I do know I want to add a diesel heater, and honestly the only place I think I could do it is right in that location there, but that's a topic for another video, and I may or may not do that, but we'll see. So as always, guys, tight lines, happy casting. We'll see you in the next video.